We're doing a sprint number 10. Let A and B be two not necessarily distinct positive integer divisors of 1000. What is the probability that B is divisible by A? Okay, what's 1000? It's 10 cubed, right? Which means it is 2 cubed times 5 cubed, 2 times 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 5. Which means what A and B are going to look like is 2 to some power between 0 and 3 times 5 to some power between 0 and 3. There's actually not that many divisors of 1000. Like, if you had to, you could probably just list all the pairs and see which are divisible by which. But that would take a long time. This is a sprint round. It's a sprint. You got to go fast. We don't have that long. So let's be smart about it instead. We want to know the probability that B is divisible by A. So how do we need B to be divisible by A? We need the 2's in B to be divisible by the 2's in A, and we need the 5's in B to be divisible by the 5's in A. Okay, that means A has to have less 2's than B, and A has to have less 5's than B. Let's think about the 2's first, and then the 5's are actually going to be really easy because we've got the same number of 2's and 5's, it's all pretty symmetric. But anyway, yeah, that's our A, 2 to the m times 5 to the n. That's B, 2 to the I times 5 to the j, right? 3 to the power of 2 times the power of 5. And let's write this out in math. We already said that B has to have more 2's in it than A and more 5's in it than A, but we can write down those little inequalities, right? I is greater than m, j is greater than n. And so let's think about I and m first. Think about the 2's. If I is going to be 0, 1, 2, or 3. If I is 0, then m has to be 0, right? One choice. Because I said earlier that I has to be greater than that. I actually written this on the screen too, which is my mistake, because I does not have to be greater than m. I has to be at least as great as m. 2 is divisible by 2, because numbers are divisible by themselves. So if I is 0, then m has to be 0. If I is 1, then m can be 0 or 1. If I is 2, m can be 0, 1, or 2. And if I is 3, m can be 0, 1, 2, or 3 for 4 choices. Okay, so that's a total of 10 ways that we can have B have at least as many 2's as A does. We've got j is greater than n, which means that j has to be 0, 1, 2, or 3, which means if j is 0, there's 1 choice for n. If j is 1, there's 2 choices for n. If j is 2, there's 3 choices for n. If j is 3, there's 4 choices for n. Because like I said earlier, the 2's and 5's are behaving in exactly the same way right now. So there's 10 ways for m to be less than I. There's 10 ways for j to be greater than n. Now we do need to know how many divisors of 1000 there are in total, because we want to know a probability, right? And the answer is the 2 has to have an exponent from 0 to 3. The 5 has to have an exponent from 0 to 3, so that's 4 choices for the 2, 4 choices of 5, total of 16. So we've got 10 choices out of 16, which simplifies to 5/8. Oh, right, sorry, backtracking slightly. When we have the 4 and the 4, what we're actually doing with those is the choices for I and for m, right? 4 choices for I, 4 choices for m. So it's a 10 out of 16 probability that I is going to be at least as big as m, 5/8. Which makes sense. It's a little bit more than half. That's what we would want from this, because it's about as likely that either one is larger, it's exactly as likely that either one is larger, but there's also some chance that they're the same, so it should come out a little over half. Anyway, yeah, so there's a 5/8 chance that I is greater than m, and then we want to know the chance that j is greater than n, and that's going to be exactly the same, right? We talked about this, still got our 10, still got our 16, so we've got another 5/8. So it's a 5/8 chance that the 2's in B are divisible by the 2's in A. It's a 5/8 chance that the 5's in B are divisible by the 5's in A. And those are independent events, so we can just multiply their probabilities with no issue. 5/8 times 5/8 is 25/64. And that's one of our answer choices, which is great news. It is more than that. It is the correct answer.
Hey, this is Tim. Hope you're enjoying our videos. If so, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that sort of thing. But what I'd really want to invite you to do is to send us an email at media@mathleague.org. Tell us which problems you'd like to see us cover next in our video series. Take care and see you in the next video.